Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're here to sift through the headlines and sources to give you the insights that matter. And today we're looking at something pretty unexpected, actually. It involves pop superstar Justin Timberlake and a private health battle he's just revealed.
Yeah, when you think Timberlake, you picture, high-energy performances, nonstop movement. But the story that's emerged is, well, quite different. We've gathered the reports, the articles, and our goal today is to really unpack this hidden struggle.
That's right. The main point is this. Justin Timberlake has been quietly dealing with Lyme disease for the last 2 years. And he did this even while he was on his huge Forget Tomorrow world tour. It hints at a significant physical and mental challenge, especially doing what he does. It really does. A huge contrast to that public persona. And it feels like more than just a headline, doesn't it? It seems like a real look into navigating challenges under a microscope. Makes you reconsider what resilience even means. So let's get into it. How did this actually come out?
Well, the news broke directly from Timberlake himself. He posted this heartfelt message on Instagram, July 31st, 2025. He's 44 now, apparently, though one or two places mentioned 43. And he said, and this is his quote, "I decided the joy that performing brings me far outweighs the fleeting stress my body was feeling. I'm so glad I kept going."
Wow. Yeah, that statement, plus the diagnosis itself, I think it's fair to say it caught a lot of fans off guard. It really highlights this split, doesn't it? Behind the scenes, he's coping with serious physical, maybe emotional strain. But on stage, he's delivering those high-energy shows we expect. It adds a whole new layer to appreciating those performances now.
Definitely. And his reason for sharing it now is interesting, too. He said he wants to be more transparent about his struggles, specifically so they aren't misinterpreted. That's a key word he used.
He admitted he was hesitant at first, said he was always raised to keep something like this to yourself, which I think many people can relate to.
Yeah, that's a common sentiment.
But he hoped being open might help others, create some connection. And he didn't mince words about the disease either. He called living with it relentlessly debilitating, both mentally and physically.
That phrase, relentlessly debilitating, really hits home. It tells you this wasn't just a minor thing.
So what exactly is Lyme disease, for those who might not know?
Right. So fundamentally, Lyme disease is a bacterial infection. Humans get it from the bite of infected ticks. And the symptoms Timberlake described, things like nerve pain, crazy fatigue, just feeling generally sick. Other sources also list common symptoms like joint pain, sometimes neurological issues, body aches, even nausea. It can be quite varied. And the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, they point out something important. If you catch it early, antibiotics usually work really well. Quick, complete recovery. But for some people, maybe if treatment starts later, there can be long-term issues, damage to the nervous system or joints. Or they might just keep having symptoms like fatigue, aches, low energy for years, potentially. It can become chronic.
So it's not always straightforward. And for Timberlake, getting that diagnosis must have been, quite a moment. Did he talk about that?
He did. He said he was shocked for sure when he first found out. But crucially, it finally explained things. He said it explained why I would be on stage and in a massive amount of nerve pain or just feeling crazy fatigue or sickness.
Right. Suddenly it clicks.
Exactly. Yeah. Imagine finally having a medical reason for feeling that way, instead of just thinking it's the tour grind getting to you.
Yeah, that clarity must have been something. But then the reality of performing through it. That Forget Tomorrow tour started way back in April 2024. And it just wrapped up in Turkey, end of July 2025. That's a long time to push through that kind of pain and fatigue.
A very long time.
And we should remember, during that tour, the perception wasn't always glowing, was it? Some people criticized performances, calling them underwhelming or lackluster.
I remember seeing some of that commentary.
Plus, he had setbacks, postponed shows, cancellations. Reasons given were things like bronchitis, laryngitis, even a back injury at one point.
Which, knowing about the Lyme now, puts all of that into a completely different light. That's where you really see the resilience the sources talk about. One report said he was silently fighting while still showing up with strength and passion.
Silently fighting.
Yeah, delivering those big shows while, as another source put it, silently enduring the pain. It reframes those criticisms entirely, doesn't it?
It really does. It speaks volumes about his commitment. And his NSYNC bandmate, Kirkpatrick, had such a powerful quote about it.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "I've always known my little bro was tough, but this tour showed me a whole new level of strength." He goes on, "Watching him battle Lyme disease day in and day out while still getting on that stage night after night was something I'll never forget. That kind of resilience is rare. Wow. And Kirkpatrick finishes, tour life is already a grind, but doing it while fighting Lyme disease, that's superhero status.
Yeah. Superhero status feels about right in this context. It's extraordinary.
It is, but it also makes you think about the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the pressure to be that superhero, even when you're struggling privately.
Absolutely. And Timberlake himself sort of touched on the personal victory in it all. He said, not only did I prove my mental tenacity to myself, but I now have so many special moments with all of you that I will never forget.
Finding meaning in the struggle.
Right. That personal validation seems really important here. And it leads back to that idea of transparency. What does it mean when public figures share these battles? How does it change how we see challenges?
Well, and he's not the only one, is he? When it comes to Lyme disease specifically, other big names have shared their experiences too. People like Avril Lavigne, Shania Twain.
Justin Bieber as well.
Right, Justin Bieber too.
And seeing these figures speak out, including Timberlake now, it definitely raises awareness. It pushes Lyme disease, which can often feel like an invisible illness, into the spotlight and maybe encourages us, to think more critically about the unseen struggles people might be facing, famous or not.
That's a great point. And this move towards transparency for Timberlake, it seems connected to a wider context for him too. The sources mentioned these past few years have been turbulent for him.
Yes, that context is probably relevant to his decision to speak out now.
Like, there was the driving while impaired charge back in September 2024. He pleaded guilty. And at the time, he made a statement about it being a mistake he hoped others could learn from, saying, I know I certainly have.
Right, taking responsibility publicly.
And then there was also the backlash related to his past relationship with Britney Spears, from details in her memoir and that documentary.
Mm-hmm.
So, facing those public challenges, perhaps it influenced this decision to be more open about the Lyme disease as well.
It seems plausible. You could see it as part of a larger shift towards wanting to control his own narrative, perhaps. Wanting to share his struggles directly, as he said, so they aren't misinterpreted. It suggests a move towards more authenticity, maybe even vulnerability.
Yeah, that makes sense. So wrapping this up, when you look at the whole picture, what really emerges is this story of incredible resilience, right? And just sheer commitment to his work, despite dealing with something he called relentlessly debilitating.
Absolutely. That's the core of it.
It's a stark reminder that the polished image we often see, well, it rarely tells the full story.
Exactly. And his choice to be transparent, it's significant, not just for his fans, but maybe for chipping away at that illusion of perfection around public figures. It fosters empathy, encourages us to look beyond the surface and acknowledge that everyone faces battles, many of them unseen.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, listening right now. What does it mean when public figures like Justin Timberlake decide to share these very private struggles? How might this influence our own understanding of what strength looks like or what vulnerability means, especially in places we don't expect to see it? Maybe it prompts you to think more about hidden health challenges or just the general power of transparency in our very public world.
Yeah, just take a moment and consider what stands out most to you from this deep dive. How might knowing the story shift your perspective, not just on celebrities, but maybe on the people around you too? Lots to think about there.